All right, let's dive into FinOps. We're going to go way beyond just talking about saving a few bucks. We're laying out a real-world roadmap for building a mature practice, one that takes FinOps from being an accounting chore to a serious, strategic driver of technology value for your whole company.
And the data really tells the story here. A whopping 78% of FinOps teams now report directly to the CTO or CIO. Now, this isn't just some org chart shuffle, it's a fundamental change. It means FinOps has earned a seat at the table, helping to shape architecture and platform decisions, not just cleaning up the bill afterwards. To really drive this point home, the FinOps Foundation itself updated its mission statement, and I want you to notice the key change here. They took out the word cloud and put in technology. It sounds small, but that one-word swap officially expands the game. It's a recognition that value and waste is everywhere, in SaaS, in licenses, in AI, not just your cloud servers.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to follow that classic maturity model: crawl, walk, and run. First, we'll nail down the absolute basics with visibility. Then, we'll get into spreading ownership across the company. And finally, we'll get to the really cool stuff: proactive automation, before we tackle the next big wave with SaaS and AI.
Every single mature FinOps practice starts right here, in what we call the crawl stage. It is the absolute bedrock, and the principle couldn't be simpler. You cannot manage, you can't optimize, you can't control a single dollar of spend that you can't see clearly, period.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Without a really disciplined, automated way to tag what's what, your cloud just turns into this fog. It becomes a financial black box. And that's the key takeaway. Tagging isn't just some janitorial task you do later. It's the absolute foundation of governance. It's step one.
So how do you actually get that clarity? Well, it boils down to these 4 pillars. First, you categorize everything: your VMs, your storage, you name it. Then, you tag those things based on how your business is actually structured, by project, by team, whatever makes sense. The key is to then automate that tagging so it happens consistently. And finally, you allocate those costs back to the teams who are actually spending the money. That's how you get true transparency.
Okay, so once you can see everything, what's next? Well, we move into the walk stage. This is all about taking that visibility and making it actionable. And the goal here isn't to be the cost police, it's to empower everybody else.
The most successful model we see out there isn't about building some giant central FinOps empire that rules with an iron fist. Nope. It's actually the opposite. It's a small, lean central team that sets the standards and provides the tools, and then empowers these champions out in the engineering and business teams to manage their own world.
And here's a perfect example of how that high-level idea becomes a reality on the ground. You can use a tool like Microsoft Entra to create these little sandboxes or administrative units for, say, a specific region. Then you can give the local IT team just enough power to manage licenses and users for their group only. They can't touch anything else. That's federated execution in action. It's brilliant.
Now we get to the run stage. This is the highest level of maturity, and honestly, it's a total mindset shift. We stop staring in the rearview mirror at last month's bill, and we start using our data like a GPS to proactively guide where the business should go next to get the most value. And this slide just lays out that evolution so clearly. Instead of doing manual reviews, we're getting predictive insights from AI. Instead of static dashboards that tell you what already happened, we're using real-time anomaly prevention. We're literally going from just reporting costs to forecasting value. It's a huge leap.
This proactive mindset all leads to this incredibly powerful concept called shift left. It means FinOps isn't just an afterthought. You're getting involved way earlier with the engineering and architecture teams before they even write a line of code. Think about it. Figuring out the cost of a decision up front prevents waste at the source. It's so much more effective than trying to clean it up a year later.
So once you've built this mature 3-stage engine, this crawl, walk, run framework, you can now aim it at the new frontiers of tech spending. And these are often the places where costs are growing the fastest and, frankly, where visibility is the worst.
And the data here is just undeniable. FinOps has totally exploded beyond its original scope. 90% of teams are now managing SaaS spend. And check this out, a staggering 98% are now responsible for tracking AI costs. This isn't a niche cloud thing anymore. It's a broad technology value discipline.
So what can you do about it? Well, here's a super practical playbook for tackling all that SaaS and license sprawl. And the real magic here isn't just about finding people who've left the company. It's about right-sizing for your active users. Are they really using all the features in that premium license? Could they be on a cheaper tier? By actually looking at how people use the tools, you can reclaim licenses, reassign them, and show real hard dollar savings.
Now, looking ahead, AI is the #1 priority for pretty much everyone, and it's really a two-sided coin. On one side, you've got to get a handle on the brand new, sometimes confusing cost models of all these AI services. But on the other side, you get to use AI to make your own FinOps practice smarter, more predictive, and way more efficient.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. By following this maturity model, by going from visibility to accountability to proactive automation, you completely transform the function. You stop being just a cost accountant who reports the news. You become a strategic partner who helps make the news, who helps drive the most value out of every single dollar invested in technology. So the question to ask yourself is, which one do you want to be?